Before we get started on the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that anime is something I'm getting more and more into every week, and something I've been wanting to review and talk about on my channel for a long time, but have found it very difficult to sort of decide which to do and what to do first. So if there's something you'd like me to review or discuss in a particular anime or an anime movie, a series, and over, do leave a comment below with your recommendation. Netflix takes another stab at Godzilla this year, but unlike the 3 Planet of the Monsters movies that they've put out since 2017, this one I believe finally hits its mark. Godzilla Singular Point sees the young genius Mei Kamino, a female researcher, and Yun Arakawa, a male engineer, take on an unprecedented threat with their companions, and when danger comes up from the depth of the earth, only the young geniuses and their teams can face the threat head-on. Taking an anime series approach, Godzilla Singular Point is a great showcase of taking a decades-old IP, hitting all of those classic hallmarks of said IP, and then adding in some pretty new and refreshing concepts and ideas. The 13-episode series gets weird with its giant kaiju this time round, switching up its classic giant over-the-top monster battles to focus on more metaphysical and hardcore sci-fi stuff in the Godzilla world, something which I think a lot of fans might not like, especially if they go into the series thinking it was just going to be 13 episodes of Godzilla beating up other monsters and stomping around on cities. If you were a fan of Hideki Anno or Shinji Higuchi's Shin Godzilla film from a few years ago, you will love this series since it borrows very heavily from it in a number of ways in both designs and story-wise, especially with its portrayal of Godzilla and how the series deals with its human characters, with Godzilla being a literal force of nature and an ever-evolving threat, and the people taking a more formal, almost political approach to dealing with said threat. The focus throughout the series is on the human characters more so than Godzilla, which again, some fans might find a detriment, but their story, thanks to it being steeped in hardcore sci-fi elements, is quite enjoyable, although I did find that there were a few too many human characters to balance out over the 13 25-minute episodes, and it often led to me being confused at who we were following at any given time. One thing I did enjoy about the main characters of Mei and Yun was that they briefly meet early on in the series, but then for the rest of it, they are apart from one another, only conversing over text message as they set out to do their parts to save the world. I thought that was rather a unique way to take the story, which would usually have all of the human characters unite against the kaiju at the end. One main character that surprised me was Jet Jaguar, since I assumed the robot would just be getting a small starring role in the show with him beating up Godzilla and that would be it. But the show almost becomes his and his creator's show for a period, focusing on the early iterations of the robot being tied to Yun's work at trying to stop Godzilla, where Jet Jaguar gets imbued with a powerful AI to combat the growing Godzilla, Rodan, and Anguirus threats, before ending the threat entirely thanks to some time travel shenanigans. Speaking of time travel, I think it's time we talk about the sci-fi concepts which this show has, which I thoroughly enjoyed throughout, but boy did they try and cram a lot into it. Not only is there time travel elements, but there is also the concept that Godzilla is a literal force of nature in the universe, molecules that can travel through dimensions and reality through light, as well as a device that's sole job is to literally be a MacGuffin. I do like that there is a place that we can explore these larger than life concepts. It adds a little bit more depth to the science fiction around Godzilla. But there was also a little too much for this show, and it would have been better had they saved some of these concepts to explore more in depth like they did this season for the second season or for something else. The animation for this show is handled by the studio Bones and Orange, and they do some absolutely stellar work. The series is insanely colourful, filling the screen with fantastic monster designs, giant robots, and an ominous red cloud that's part of the central plot and in almost every episode and covers everything in a great crimson sheen. The highlight of the series for me was absolutely Godzilla's atomic beams, which like most of the series takes big cues from Shin Godzilla's, perfectly showcasing the true power of the kaiju, and even going so far as to, I believe, even lift some scenes directly from that show and pay homage to them by recreating them here with the animation, and they just look fantastic. Godzilla Singular Point Season 1 was a fantastic new addition to the Godzilla mythos, taking classic classic touchstones of the character and imbuing it with some refreshing, hardcore sci-fi concepts which, while are exciting to watch unfold, there were probably a few too many for the time the season had to explore them, but other than that, I quite enjoyed the show. I'm going to give Godzilla Singular Point a 7.5 out of 10.